My name is Mark Gorlick, and I'm the owner and operator of Vast Travel and Tours. The following video is intended to not only welcome you to the company as a team member, but also to provide training for employees relative to travel documents required of Vast clients for all international travel booked through Vast. Vast Travel and Tours is a travel services company with the aim of providing high-quality services at a low cost. The principals of the company have a combined 50 years of travel experience spanning more than 30 countries. It's through this experience that Vast determined a need in the area of guided travel services in Southeast Asia. As such, initial offerings have been developed with a focus on Southeast Asia with plans to expand globally as operational performance and budget allows. Vast's offering will be focused on the budget traveler while providing unique opportunities to experience local culture, customs, and also serve as an information resource for would-be travelers, be it Vast customers or otherwise. It's this distinction, the commitment to providing resources in addition to revenue-generating services, that Vast believes will set itself apart from the competition. While the required travel documents are critical, there are other resources that provide additional information that all travelers should not only be aware of, but also have access to while traveling in the event of issues abroad. This video will discuss the importance of a training program relating to the travel industry based on primarily the needs of Vast customers, but also the needs of would-be travelers. A few topics that will be discussed are passports, visas, travel advisories, and we'll touch very briefly on international laws. In international travel, the passport is a critical piece of identification for the traveler. One cannot board a plane or cross international borders without a passport. Passports must be applied for, and one should plan for 4 to 6 weeks for delivery from the time of application. It is important to note that passports can be expedited at an additional cost. Expediting typically reduces the processing time to 2 to 3 weeks, nearly half of the normal time. When planning travel, one must also consider visas, since there can be additional time required depending on the destination to be visited. Initially, we're going to talk about the passport and the application. The application can be found at the U.S. State Department website. We'll touch on that in a little bit. But it's a 2-page form and pretty straightforward to fill out. You do have to have a photograph of yourself to provide, but this is a standard United States of America passport. There is a microchip inside. Opening the passport, similar to a driver's license in a sense, you'll have a picture of yourself as well as pertinent information, and at international borders the passport is scanned by Border Patrol in various countries. In terms of visas, a visa is an endorsement on the passport used to indicate that the holder is permitted to enter or leave a country within a stated amount of time. The type of visa required depends on the type of traveling being done as well as the country being visited. So, as an example, these stamps within the passport are obtained upon arrival in a country, and this is an example of an arrival into Barcelona as well as a departure, again received on arrival, whereas countries such as India being another example, you actually have to send off your passport to an agency. In this case, the passport needed to be sent to Washington, D.C. The visa's placed inside the passport and the passport is returned to you. It's important to note that you need to allow enough time for receiving your passport if you're having to apply for one, but also enough time to receive your passport back with time to spare in case there are any issues with the visa being granted. You'll note that there's a 6-month window of time that in this particular instance the travel was allowed, and there were multiple entries allowed into India. We've talked briefly about passports and visas. What we're going to do now is head out to the State Department website and look for the information for a given country. We're going to choose China for this example. So from the State Department website, there is a travel link in the middle of the screen, and that travel link provides a great deal of information. Once you arrive at the page, Uh, there are a variety of options, one for passports, one for visas. You'll notice a link here up on the top left for get or renew your passport. You can do applications online or by mail. If for any reason you've lost your passport or it's been stolen, you can report it here, as well as change any information or have errors corrected. So as it relates to travel and visa requirements, if we go over to international travel here, it brings us to a page where we can select a country that we're going to go to and find information out about that. So since our target is going to be China, we'll click on Asia, and it's an interactive map. You can select country by country. We'll select China, and links to additional information up here on the screen. So for any traveler, there's a variety of information. You've got a country description, Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, threats to safety, entry and exit requirements for U.S. citizens are what we're going to focus on right now. Those are the visa requirements. So if we click in, you'll notice that there are a few different headings. Before you go, upon arrival, and then leaving China. In this case, before you go, you need a visa as well as 6 months validity remaining on your passport. This is the information that any VAST employee needs to not necessarily know offhand, but have the ability to get to, as well as direct potential clients to. So in this case, the Chinese embassy, they've got strict requirements. The passport needs to be sent out. There are some restrictions. For example, China stopped restricting tourists with HIV from visiting, but will not allow them residency. And the People's Republic of China expects you to comply with the requirements of your visa. This goes for really any country that you're traveling to, or that the client's traveling to. But there is a great deal of information. Again, the key is not that you know every last bit of the detail for a given country, rather that you have the ability to obtain it and you know where to get it from. So if we head back up to the top here, the travel.state.gov homepage, by clicking the logo at the top, you'll notice to the left there are travel warnings and travel alerts. This is, in some cases, very specific information about countries. In other cases, it could be a general threat. In this case, for May 30th, hurricane season was identified. And if we look at the hurricane season alert, it mentions the Atlantic, the Caribbean, and the Gulf of Mexico, and the upcoming hurricane season. Talks a little bit about it. The goal here is just to inform the traveler so that they're aware of any potential threats. Lastly, on the website, I want to touch on law and policy. The primary intent of informing customers of law and policy as it relates to international travel is simple. Whenever traveling in a foreign country, travelers are subject to local laws. Laws of the United States of America do not apply. It's extremely important to make this distinction given the cultural and governmental differences of countries around the world. It is my hope that this video has been sufficiently informational and provided you with the appropriate resources to obtain all of the information necessary for either yourself or your potential client. As with any area of VAST, senior management looks to its employees at all levels to identify potential areas of improvement and communicate them to their manager for a review or potential inclusion into an upcoming video. Throughout the process, VAST stands committed to success in the travel industry, looking forward to challenges and opportunities ahead. Tourism and experiencing new cultures is an exciting prospect for people around the world. VAST looks to promote travel and positive cultural experiences, beginning with Southeast Asia, with goals for expansion in the future. We look forward to serving the community.